finally, well, you just can't fix stupid.
How did you feel about the Nashville school shooting where the transgender committed a hate crime and killed 6 Christian kids?
It's all wrapped up in Trump.
Oh, you think that's because of Trump?
All of it.
How?
Because he's the one that's creating the hate towards the community.
But how is this hate towards the community if a transgender killed 6 Christians? Wouldn't the transgender be the one hating the community?
If you could just be a regular transgender or a regular LCGB, whatever.
Trump hasn't been president for 2 years. How can we blame this on Trump when Biden's the president?
Biden's the dude.
Biden's the dude. When are they going to pin the Lincoln assassination on Trump? Now, this man testified at the House Committee on New York violence held in New York. His son was attacked for the crime of wearing a yarmulke.
Mr. Borgen for 5 minutes.
I'd like to begin by thanking Congressman Jim Jordan and other members of the committee for giving me the opportunity to testify. Nearly 2 years ago, on May 20th, 2021, I received a call no parent should ever receive. On the other hand, my son Joseph, who quickly told me he was okay, but be beaten out of Times Square. He was needing medical attention. He handed the phone to the NYPD, who were extremely helpful and very supportive, and did the best they possibly can. I was told they'd bring him to the emergency room in Bellevue Hospital. Without hesitation, I made a straight beeline straight to Manhattan, got in my car, and drove to Manhattan. I got to the hospital. It was hard to believe what my son looked like. His face was beaten. His face was sprayed with mace. They punched him. One fella hit him with crutches. In Times Square, broad daylight, all because he's wearing a yarmulke going to a pro-Israel rally. Now, I'm in New York my whole life. I'm 57. Never had problems like this. It was just very shocking to hear this. It was just like horrible, horrible thing. My wife was at home. She couldn't come with me. It was COVID. Only one person go to the hospital. I sit in front of the community, 2-year anniversary of the attack rapidly approaching, and the ongoing struggle with D.A. Bragg. This has been going on for 2 years. They have a film of this in black and white from people on the street in Times Square. It's an open and shut case. And D.A. Bragg is just schlepping this case along with no solution, offering deal after deal. One fella, Wasim Awade, was hitting my son with crutches, was offered a sweetheart deal, didn't take it yet. He was let out on probation. As he's getting out of the court, as he's getting out of jail, the friends are dancing with him on his shoulder. He said, I will do this again. I will do this again. He had no qualms about doing it again, about beating up another Jewish person. And in fact, while he was out on bail, he had an incident with a road rage with an elderly man on the street. Bragg brought him in again, nothing. Just go out and behave yourself. This just emboldened him to act, and he doesn't care. I've been in 3 court hearings, and basically nothing has happened in 3 court hearings here in Lower Manhattan, a couple buildings down. And it's just very disheartening that I sit here today and nothing is getting done. My son Joseph was invited to the White House to appear in front of Joe Biden, our president, and a bunch of Kamala Harris and so forth. And this was not a partisan issue. There's an issue where they were beating up Asians in New York nonstop, no repercussions. Beating up Jews, pushing people in the subways, in the tracks, no repercussions. It's hard to understand what goes on. And here this one fellow was offered a deal, no jail time. He only punched my son once. This is what Bragg was offering to someone. Hit my son once. Okay, one time. Okay, we'll give you a slap on the wrist. You go and play video games for 6 months. It's just disgusting. Now, in the past couple of years since the incident happened, my son had surgery on his wrist. He likes to play basketball. He's very uncomfortable to play basketball. And it's just, some other things, it's affected his whole life. It's just a terrible, terrible thing. He has physical therapy 3 days a week. And these 6 individuals are walking the streets, roaming around, like nothing, not a care in the world. And it's almost 2 years. I mean, unfortunately, down in Maryland, so it's 4 years. It's horrible. They're pushing plea bargains back before nothing gets done. We have heard from, when my son got beaten up by these 6 individuals, we heard from many politicians. But I must quote Mayor Adams was a candidate, Governor Hochul. I must take notice with Mr. Nadler. You're a Jewish New Yorker. I called your office numerous times. I called Mr. Schumer's office, another Jewish New Yorker, numerous times. No one called us back. Neither one of you came out of statement on my son's incident. Okay? You're a Jewish New Yorker. You have Jewish roots here. Behavior like this enables D.A. Bragg to just do whatever he wants to do. If you guys would have come out with a statement from Washington and said, we condemn this beating to Mr. Borgen's son, We condemned anti-Semitic. We condemn this act. Maybe Mr. Bragg would have taken this case a little more seriously, and I call you out on it. And most of my friends, I am so disheartened with you and Mr. Schumer. You don't understand. We wouldn't vote for Mr. Schumer again if we stood on our head. And if I lived in Manhattan, I wouldn't vote for you either. And I will tell you something else that bothers me. Everybody's here with gun control. Somehow the criminals can get guns. But the average person in New York can't get a gun. I just came back from Miami after 2 weeks. All my friends who moved out there, many of my friends, all have gun licenses. And there's a deterrent there. If someone goes after you, there's a chance that the person they're going to attack has a way to defend himself. Here in New York, we can't get guns. The criminals walk around shooting people, get guns nonstop. It's unbelievable. And a gun charge comes to Mr. Bragg, misdemeanor, no problem, walk the streets. I remember Plaxico Burress, if you remember, the New York Giants was a wide receiver. He was in a nightclub. The Giants were 10-1. He went to a nightclub, accidentally shot himself with a gun. I think Robin Morgenthau was a DA at the time. Plaxico Burress went to jail for 18 months, if you remember. He was a football star in New York. They needed him. They would have won the Super Bowl again. Here in New York now, you come with a gun, okay, don't do it again. We'll see you again. It's just disgusting, and it's a chutzpah what goes on. It's a Jewish word, chutzpah. What goes on in this district, I haven't been in Manhattan for social events. I will not come for a restaurant. I will not come to the garden for a ball game. I won't go to a Broadway show. I will not set foot in Manhattan. I have a friend of mine who likes to go to Broadway shows, matinees. You know what they do now? They get a group of 30 people. They get on a bus, park in front of the theater, walk into the theater. Don't walk around, no shopping. They then get on a bus, go to a predetermined restaurant, and they walk out to the restaurant, go on a bus, and go home. That's all the interaction I have in Manhattan. I would just like to say thank you for listening to me, and I hope some good comes from this.
Thank you, Mr. Borgen.
Life in big city America. Now, Arnold Schwarzenegger, the former governor of California, has humiliated the city of Los Angeles. How? Well, some have gone after him for the video showing him filling in a pothole.
Hasta la vista, potholes. Arnold Schwarzenegger takes matters into his own hands, fixing a pothole on his street in Los Angeles. The former governor says he waited for more than 3 weeks for someone from the city to come out and repair the crack road and simply got tired of waiting. Even a neighbor thanked him for his service.
You're welcome, you're welcome. You have to do it yourself.
I caught up with him as he left his house today.
You know, this hole, or these two holes have been here for over a month. And we have been complaining to the city and been making them aware of it. And they have not responded.
Turns out that Arnold's pothole was actually a trench used by the local gas company that was slated for repair.
If they want me to fix more, I fix more. It makes no difference to me. This is all part of it.
Arnold Schwarzenegger is not alone complaining about the condition of local streets. Since the beginning of the year, the city of Los Angeles has received over 20,000 calls reporting potholes, all of it caused by oversaturated streets due to the unusual rainy weather drenching California.
20,000 potholes? Well, in my opinion, Arnold wasn't much of a governor, but maybe we could appoint him commissioner of potholes. What's that? A pair of beautiful tan My slippers in the great Eldersky's baby brown libertarian fingers. Here they are. And you can get a pair as well. They come in different colors. They also come in a different style if you happen not to like that style. I happen to like that one. You may want a different style. And this, of course, is a brand new MyPillow 2.0, even fluffier, even more comfortable than the MyPillow 1.0. Call the number on your screen or go to MyPillow.com. Use promo code ELDER. There are, by the way, over 100 products. MyPillow.com, promo code ELDER. This is a 6-towel set. Notice it says towels that work, meaning towels that actually absorb the water. Isn't that what you want towels to do? These actually work. Mike went around and found out that a lot of the towels you see in the stores look good, smell good, feel good, but they don't absorb the water. These do. And of course, they come in different colors. Just go to mypillow.com, promo code ELDER, or call the number on your screen. And finally, the Giza Dream Bedsheet. Giza, an area in Egypt where the finest cotton is found. How do I know that? Because Mike went around the world to find the best place, and it was in Egypt. And these are amazing to sleep on. Now, mine, as you can see, is white because, after all, I am the black face of white supremacy, but you're not. You may want a different color. And they come in different sizes because, guess what? Beds come in different sizes. Call the number on your screen or go to MyPillow.com, promo code ELDER. That's MyPillow.com, promo code ELDER. Now, PETA activists say New York City officials shouldn't kill sensitive rats. I kid you not. In other words, rats' lives matter. My dad used to say 90% of the people don't want to hear about your problems. The other 10%, well, they're happy it's you. Couldn't artificial intelligence be described as gain-of-function mental technology? If so, it possesses many times the potential for disaster as that which escaped or was released from the Wuhan lab. Imagine a cadre of smug know-it-alls like Dr. Fauci leading the AI charge. Scary. Now, more deep thoughts from our vice president. Entrepreneurs, she tells us, are also small businesses. Who knew?
You know, I think that when we think about the SBA, it's about small businesses, but entrepreneurs are also small businesses. I've started to use the two phrases together because we don't want to leave anyone out because they're the same kind of people. They actually are the same people.
Entrepreneurs are also small businesses, so they're the same people. I don't want to leave anybody out because, well, entrepreneurs are business people and business people are entrepreneurs, just so you know. Now, hate to be a broken record, but can you imagine what the media and the Dems would be saying if the Donald Trump family was doing a fraction of what the Biden family is alleged to have done?
We learned a lot that was new. The committee went there today, but I've had staff there over the past 2 weeks. There are thousands of pages of documents relating to financial transactions. And let me be very clear. This isn't just about the president's son or the president's brother. We've identified 6 new Biden family members involved in shady foreign transactions that we believe were a direct result of influence peddling. That brings the number of Biden family members now to 9 that were involved in the Biden family influence peddling. And we still have more family members that we suspect were involved. So this is a family affair. This is something that should be troubling to every American. And what we've learned from going through these records are there are a lot of additional LLCs, a lot of additional bank accounts that we didn't know prior to going to the Treasury Cabinet. So we've learned a lot. This investigation is ongoing, but I can tell you without hesitation, it's very serious, and the President of the United States is going to have a very hard time explaining how so many of his family members have received so much money from our adversaries around the world.
Nine family members? How many Bidens are there? Now, do you ever watch MSNBC Hee Haw? If so, you can get a good understanding of why you think half the country has gone mad. This gentleman, according to the graphic, is a, quote, former RNC spokesman. He was the communications director for Jeb Bush and is now a fierce Trump critic. In other words, the kind of pseudo-Republican MSNBC Hee Haw loves to put on.
But if you look at what Jim Jordan's whole raison d'etre has been since he got in, since the Republicans won the House in November, it's been, we're going to investigate the Biden administration. You know, and he's gone down all these absurd rabbit holes and the Hunter Biden. And, you know, we had the Twitter files, people that came forward, all this stuff that nobody cares about outside of like the Fox News cinematic universe, right? Unless you're watching 10 hours of conservative media a day, you don't even know what Jim Jordan's talking about half the time. At least today, he picked an issue where people understand it. It's like, hey, crime is going up in a lot of big cities. A lot of big cities are run by Democrats. Just happens that New York isn't really one of them.
Nobody cares about the suppression of content exposed by the Twitter files. Nobody cares that those who descended from the lockdowns, those who descended from the mask mandates, they had their content suppressed. Nobody cares. And nobody cares about the Hunter Biden laptop story. One slight problem. One study found that 16% of Biden voters say they would not have voted for Biden had they known about the Hunter Biden laptop story that this gentleman says nobody cares about. This is yet another example of media election interference, only they call it news. Now, according to the DOJ, 2 people have been arrested for operating an illegal overseas police station for the Chinese government in New York City.
As we are the first law enforcement partners in the world to make arrests in connection with the Chinese government's overseas police stations. Now, the defendants, Liu Jianwang and Chen Jinping, were arrested earlier this morning at their homes in New York City. As alleged, the defendants worked together to establish an overseas police station in Manhattan's Chinatown on behalf of the Fuzhou branch of the Chinese government's National Police Force, the NPS. These defendants did China's bidding in secret while acting under the direction and control of an NPS official in China.
Now, about this, Epoch Times reports the police station is believed to be one of more than 100 overseas stations operated by the Chinese regime in 53 countries. And according to the FBI, the defendants were directed to do China's bidding, including helping locate a Chinese dissident living in the United States. And they obstructed the FBI's investigation by deleting their communications with a Chinese Ministry of Public Security official, end of quote. Wow. Here's what the Chicago mayor-elect said about the mass looting that's been taking place in that city.
There's no way to embrace that. What I'm saying is you can't condone the looting that corporations continue to do every single day when they take tax dollars from black, brown, white folks all over the city of Chicago so that they can turn a profit.
What? Businesses are looting by taxing people for the products that they sell them and the product consumers willingly buy, and therefore the looting is acceptable because, after all, corporations are looting consumers by providing goods and services that the consumers want. This guy succeeded Mayor Lori Lightfoot, who was soft on crime. If New Yorkers, people living in LA, and people in Chicago haven't gotten the message by now, they never will get the message. These people don't care about crime, and the victims, by and large, are the very black and brown people that people like this man purport to care about. Now, I know you like this show, so hit that like button. Also hit that subscribe button. Let's get our subscriptions up. And then scroll down a little bit and get on our mailing list. That way you won't miss any of our videos. And you see that little round donate button? Hit that. Throw a little something in the tip jar. Make sure we can still give you hard-hitting, candid programming. Finally, LarryWithEpoch.com, LarryWithEpoch.com. I'm Larry Elder. This has been the Larry Elder Show for Epoch Times. We've got a country to save. I'll see you next time.